Gertrude Stein said, "We're always the same age inside." Now I'm wondering, what's that age for you? When I interviewed Jodie Watkins for the book Alive and Kicking, she said that she was 29. She felt 29, so she was going to stay 29 forever. Welcome to Over 50, so what? The show with the age on the inside is what matters. We kick off today with a chat to Jodie Atkinson, who turned the serious topic of grief into an award-winning cabaret show. Later, we meet John, who after retirement started writing crime novels in locations all around the world. Get ready, of course, to get moving in the middle of the show with our 5-minute fitness fun. Some of you may be aware that in 2001, Menopause the musical was released, and it shone a light on the not too talked about topic of the life stage of menopause. Another topic we don't talk about much is grief, and in February 24, Jodie Atkinson launched an award-winning cabaret show, Have You Met My Grief? Today we're chatting to Jodie about her work as a grief recovery specialist and how this evolved into a cabaret show. Today we've got some amazing tips and some amazing advice to receive from you. How does someone support someone who's going through loss?
I would always lead with, I can't imagine how you might feel, or I can't imagine how heartbreaking that might be. Then I would ask them if they want to talk about it. And if they want to talk about it, I stop talking. I don't ask them questions, and I don't throw tissues at them and try and, display any behavior that looks like I'm saying, I'm not comfortable with your feelings. Suddenly the story isn't about them anymore. It's about you. So just allow them to have their feelings. If you are a friend and you are not sure how to approach somebody going through a massive loss, just show up and say, I'm here. I think it is about the other person feeling like they're not equipped. We don't have conversations about what's appropriate to say to people. So learning to be able to be uncomfortable is the biggest thing you can do.
So what do we do to learn more on how to become a better communicator or how to become a better supporting friend of someone who's going through loss?
It is really just about being okay with not having any answers. I talk about this particular friend of mine. I had a really rough day, and I reached out to my friends and said, look, I need my friends to come over. I'm doing it really tough, but just be mindful of that roller coaster because it's pretty rough. Like, I'm up and down, I'm all over the place. And one of my friends actually messaged back, count me in, I love roller coasters. And what I love about that response was in the funk that I was in at that time, it made me smile, but it gave me that sense of, she's going to just sit in this with me. Like there's no judgment of how I'm feeling or how I'm behaving or what I'm thinking. And it was just literally that I'm going to be safe with her. And it was funny, right? And grief does have moments where there is stuff that's funny that happen in amongst all the hard and the shitty stuff, if I can say that. It's there is funny bits in there. There are light moments.
So grief has many faces. And you were inspired with your loss to write the book, Have You Met My Grief?
So Have You Met My Grief is about my experience, but I'm aware that grief is unique to everybody. And I figured writing a book about my individual circumstances might not reflect other people. So I did reach out to other widows, and I spoke to women in America, Canada, here in Australia and New Zealand. And I got their perspective. I sent them the same list of questions, and it was about what was helpful, what was unhelpful. And there was a lot of similarity, but there were some interesting contrasts as well. And I think it was just really good to show that different people experience grief in different ways, regardless of age and circumstances and where they're living.
So your book's got lots of strategies and tips on how to manage your own grief. Is it helpful for someone who wants to support a family member or a loved one through their grief? Is it helpful for them as well?
Chapter 5 is all about the things you don't say, but here's a list of things that you can say and do that might be, a little bit more helpful. And it is about that. And again, that is full of all those other the input from all those other women about what to say, what to do, what was unhelpful, because some people had like different things that they heard repeatedly that I didn't hear, for example. But there was a common thread that, people just showing up. Someone turned up and mowed the lawn. We don't know what we want sometimes. We don't know how to reach out and ask for help, but somebody coming and offering to take the kids to school, or offering to bring some groceries or drop groceries off, or consideration in those ways can be really, really appreciated.
Now, congratulations on winning yet another award for your cabaret show. How did this book end up being a cabaret show and winning awards?
I've always loved performing, but it's been on the back burner because there's always been other things to do. And when you run your own business, if you've got free time, what are you doing? Usually promoting your business, marketing, or taking some time out to regenerate. The book being received in its form has been helpful to people. When I look at Cabaret as a space to be vulnerable and share a message, it's another platform for this conversation to be had. So it was a 10-minute set as part of a bigger show with other performers. And I've turned that 10-minute set into a 60-minute show. So it's a cabaret show with singing and storytelling, but there's useful tips in there to take away. That boundary setting that I talked about around, being able to say, it's not my experience, that's not how I feel, or not what I think. That's in there. It is meant to be a little bit informative and educational and entertaining.
Jodie's such an incredible storyteller. She's natural. She'll blow you away.
It was just so beautiful and so heartfelt. I love it.
Emotional roller coaster.
It was really in-depth, but she was amazing.
I couldn't have asked for any more.
I think it's such an important topic, grief, and one that we can all relate to, and she was just fabulous.
And someone who's also been widowed in not so different circumstances, I thought it was absolutely spot on. And it was so beautifully done.
It's such an amazing show where you can laugh and you can cry and you can laugh and you can cry, all in a matter of minutes.
And for me, that's what I wanted at Cabaret, all of those features.
I thought the show was absolutely fantastic. I think everyone should come and see it.
So what are your plans for the cabaret show moving forward?
Look, I'm open to anything, really. Fringe here in South Australia, there are so many opportunities to collaborate and meet people who are looking to work with you, tour shows, things like that. I would love to take my show regional in South Australia, but interstate. And I am really keen to explore any options, really, in terms of this, because it's got a really important message. And that is my mission, really, with this.
Well, when I heard about your show, I thought about Menopause the musical, which was launched in 2001, and people weren't talking about menopause. They weren't talking about that life stage. People aren't talking about grief, but the musical Menopause really got people out there and talking about it and being more informed. So I think it's a fantastic objective to get the cabaret show out there, to get your message to as many people as possible, because that's a great platform to do it.
The arts are amazing. Like, how else, whenever we read a book or watch a movie, like, we identify with characters. And even if we're reading someone else's story, like an autobiography or something like that, we connect to that from our own perspective, don't we? We bring our own story to that story. A cabaret show is just another platform in order to facilitate connection. It's about getting people talking about this stuff.
So thank you for sharing your tips. Thank you for your passion. You have a very important message. We hope that after watching you today, many, many people will be talking about grief and understanding better how to talk to someone else who's going through loss. So thanks so much, Jodie. Thanks for watching our TV show. Be sure to hit subscribe and then you'll never miss an episode. Jump on Facebook, join our group, get in on the fun, fitness, wellness and inspiration. I'm Carol, over 50. So what?